What's going on? It's your host of the most, the real Taylor Nicole, and we back at it again with another episode for y'all. Don't mind me in between takes. I might be eating a little, you know what I'm saying? But listen, I hope y'all enjoyed these Black History episodes, these Movies with Tay episodes, these miniature skits. Your girl has been creating. She's been creating. She's been in that lab. But also with being in that lab also meant that I also had to take a couple mental break days where I just didn't do no social media work for real. If it wasn't already scheduled and planned and plotted and created, I didn't do nothing. I took a quick little mental break to give myself the opportunity to rejuvenate myself. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, I want to bring to y'all before we jump into today's episode is I want to let y'all know that I have made a final decision on the name for the podcast, the new one. No release date has been just done yet. I do have a few episodes scheduled to be shot. Just got to get those people prepared to shoot those episodes with me. And then also, too, I need to upgrade one of my phones so that I can record off my phone and then use my camera as well, my bigger camera. It only shoots for about 30 minutes, but that's fine with me because the new podcast is only going to be between 30 and 45 minutes. So even if I have to pause the episode to reshoot another, 30 minutes or whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, that's just a little bit of new info for you guys. Just wanted to bring that out there to your attention, and your host wanted to let you know. So with that being said, on another episode of Movies with Tay, y'all know how I like to do it when I do it, because how I do it. Can you dig it? Yes, you can. Hold on. I need a food break. Sorry about the food breaks. All right. So, this is episode 54 of Movies with Tay. The name of this movie we're talking about today is Madea's Destination Wedding, and you should have seen it coming because you know I love me some TP. Running time is about an hour and 45 minutes long. This was released on July 11th of 2025. The director for this film is Mr. Tyler Perry. The producers is Tyler Perry Studio, and also I believe Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. Where to watch this film? Of course. Not I said of course. Whatever I said. Of course, you can watch this film on Netflix. And then, of course, I got to bring you the cast. We got Tyler Perry as Madea, as Joe, and also as Brian. All right. TP is everybody most of the time. All right. I'm sorry, that made me laugh because I thought about how he really do be everybody. All right, let me get through it for real. We got Tyler Perry as Madea, Joe, and Brian. We got Diamond White as Tiffany. We got Xavier Smalls as Xavier. We got Cassie Davis as Aunt Bam. We got Tamala Mann as Cora. David Mann as Mr. Brown. We got Taja V. Simpson as Deborah. And Jeremy Harris as BJ. Alright, that's the cast and crew. And before we move over to the next segment that y'all love so much, thank y'all for really tuning in. I really appreciate the growth that we're having as a channel, as a team, and I appreciate it. Be prepared for the new stuff coming, though. Don't say I didn't warn you. Don't say I didn't warn you. They'll be like, I didn't know you did that yet. I told you it's coming. Alright, so, movie recap. It's kind of a simple movie recap, alright? So the movie opens up with us seeing Madea, Cora, and Brown at a grocery store, a supermarket, whatever you want to call it, where they're coming out of a sketchy grocery store at this, I guess it's sketchy at night to Cora. Brown and Madea ain't really scared, but Cora is, and Madea like, girl, toughen up. But anyway, so they coming out of the grocery store, and then they head over to a gas station. Now, the beginning of the movie kind of was just for laugh and giggles, I feel like, because it really held no value to. Oh, yes, it did. It just registered what. Okay, it does hold a little bit of value. I'm gonna try to remember to circle back to that. So they go to a gas station. Where when at the gas station, Brown and Cora go in to go pay for the gas while Madea pumps. Right. Well, Medea's trying to pump the gas. Two hooligans hop out the car to try to rob her. She get to tussling with them, and they get to tussling back. She ended up getting the gasoline pump and starts spraying them down with gasoline or whatever, and they get to trying to run off. She flicks the cigarette or whatever at their car, it catches on fire. Boom, that's the beginning. Well, after that happens and Madea handles what she needs to handle, we end up seeing Brian and his ex-wife Deborah at a dinner table. They chilling and talking or whatever, and they really chilling. They actually kind of arguing, but they soft arguing because Deborah and Brian got a divorce, and Deborah moved on to some rich dude who she living lavish with, and Brian kind of low key jealous, but at the same time kind of grateful that he not married to her no more. I guess because of her gold digging tendencies, if you will, and like how she always put herself before her kids. And if y'all don't remember, Deborah was also in Diary of a Mad Black Woman, where she was strung out on that stuff. So it's kind of like the still a bitter situation because of that, because he took her back to help her heal herself, and then when she healed herself, she kind of turned on him in a way. But anyway, let's keep going. So they're basically there to have dinner with Brian to surprise Brian with the information that his daughter's getting married. But the problem is the cat she getting married to, Brian ain't happy about, because Xavier is exemplifying a hoodlum, a thug, a gangster, stuff that he don't want his daughter with, which is makes sense. Their daughter happy with the boy, love the boy, because they got some type of chemistry together, right? And then his son BJ also knows the boy. See, Brian don't know him. Tiffany, of course, know him because that's her man. And then Deborah and BJ know him because she done brought him around them, but not around her daddy, right? So Xavier is very disrespectful. He's sitting at the table talking about some what up nigga and how he be hitting that and all this, like in front of her daddy and her mama. He very disrespectful. So rightfully so, Brian still don't I don't like this dude. And then for you to spring up on me, you gonna marry the same dude that just sat here and told me he be hitting that, like you not my daughter. You know what I mean? So Brian is going to Madea and Joe for advice and for, I guess you could say comfort or whatever. Which we know Madea and Joe ain't about that comfort shit. If you don't know, Brian is Joe's son. Joe is Brian's father. Madea is Brian's aunt, because Joe and Madea are siblings. Alright? So Brian's sitting on the step, and Madea got on this like camouflage bush looking thing, and Joe, he got his little 22 out, pew pew, and he rolled up on Brian, and Brian like, y'all don't know who I am? They like, nah, nigga. And then they look and they're like, oh yeah, we know you. So he goes through this motion and he pretty much explains to them that his daughter gonna marry some hoodlum that he don't like. And they like, but they're like, well, bring him on to the crib. Let me scope him out, see what he about. And they tell him get his scary ass off their porch before he get upped. So the next day they have a little fish fry at Madea crib. Everybody there. Bam, Cora, Brown, Joe, Madea, and I think who else was at the table? I think that was it actually. They all sitting at the table pretty much teasing him, especially Aunt Bam, Joe, and Madea. They pretty much teasing him like Tiffany want to get married to this boy because she pregnant. That's the only reason why people rush to get married this fast, because apparently she ain't known the boy that long. So they like, that's the only reason why people get married that fast. And Brian like, nah, my daughter's not pregnant. That's not, sorry, something keep floating in my face. That's not why my daughter want to get married. That can't be it. And they like, well, that's the only reason why people get, and even Brown and Cora like, yeah, that is kind of the reason why people rush to get married. So while they in there teasing him, Deborah, Tiffany, and Xavier show up. They pull up. And Madea and them get to see firsthand how he disrespectful. He talking about some what up, Madea. Very, whatever. Only one who fucking with it is Joe. Joe cool with how he is, cause Joe like that's how I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm a real gangster, real pimp. So Joe ain't tripping. Everybody else like, yeah, he got. And Bam ain't tripping either, cause Bam think he's sexy. So Bam ain't really tripping either. Joe and Bam cool with Z. Well, they rapping, they chapping, and Deborah throws Brian underneath the bus and was like, my daughter wants this lavish wedding, but she can't get it because her daddy ego in the way, and the fathers pay for the wedding, so his ego in the way, and he won't let us pay for the wedding, blah 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 blah. And Brian never said that. Brian never said that. Brian didn't even want her to marry him. So we know Brian never said he wasn't gonna pay for it, and that he was gonna pay for it, and that he would let them pay for it. But Brian gets suckered in, and Joe telling him like, "Don't fall for it. She's suckering you in, bro. Don't fall for it." So Brian falls for it. He falls for it, and he agrees to pay for the wedding, even though he never agreed in the first place to pay for it. So they going to the Bahamas. This is where she getting married. It's the destination wedding, so she getting married in the Bahamas. So hold on. Oh, one thing I didn't like was Deborah, old crackhead ass, because she used to be a crackhead. Deborah got the nerve to be playing mind games with him, talking about he can't afford the Bahamas, he can't afford this, can't afford it. He's a good damn district attorney. I know he make decent money where he can afford to pay for his daughter wedding in the Bahamas. But anyway, so they have to go get passports to go to the Bahamas, right? So this scene kind of was funny. So you got Brown, you got Joe, you got Bam, you got Madea and Cora all going to get their passports, right? Everybody else get their passport but Madea right off, because everybody else ain't scared. They go and get their passport. Now Madea, this is why I said I'm going to swing back to full circle about the gas station thing, because at first I was trying to figure out where this correlated in the movie. Now I kind of figure out where it is. So Madea is scared to go get her passport because she thinks that they know what she did to them dudes. So now she's scared because she just seen a lady come out in handcuffs. So now she's scared and she really don't want to go. The lady keep calling for her. She finally get up and go because Brown lies and tell her they giving away free TVs. So she finally get up and she go. So when she get up and go, she get in there and she nervous, but she so used to going to jail, so she automatically turning to the side and hitting them with this. You know what I'm saying? She used to going to jail, so she know the side profiles. So that's what she trying to do, and the lady like, ma'am, turn around this way so I can take the picture of you. And she was scared. She like, give me my sign, give me my number, give me my name. But Madea just terrified because she's so used to going to jail. So when the lady walk out, when the lady in there, she get ready to walk out because the police do come in. He whispers something in her ear, so she walking out. As she walking out, Madea like, I gotta make a run for it. So she say something to the officer. He look at her. She fling the door open. Madea booked it, ran straight through a glass damn door, and whole time nothing was wrong. They giving Madea her damn passport, but she was so paranoid because what she did at the gas station, she assumed that they knew that she did something, that she did that at the gas station. So that's why she was scared. Now I understand why the beginning of the movie, full circle, why it made sense, why she was scared, why they needed it, because she was scared to get her passport. But anyway, they get their passport and they all get on the plane. They complaining about the seats that they got, but needless to say, they shut the hell up, sat down in their seats, and got to Bahamas. They get to the Bahamas. While at the Bahamas, they also find out that they got to share 2 rooms, and men in one room, women in the other, and everybody pissed off. Here come Deborah, old Captain Save a whole ass, and she rubbing it in Brian's face that he ain't got the money to pay for everybody to have their own room, call him a broke boy basically. But low key, he really did have the money to pay for everybody to have their own room. Brian just cheap. That's all it is. He just cheap. Well, she come in there and she sucker him in again. But she trying to clown him. She like, I had my husband knows the hotel owner, so we had them give you a generous discount and this, that, and the third. They ended up giving 50% off of all the rooms, which is $100 a night. So which means each room was $200 a night. Which, whatever. They gave him a discount. He gets the rooms. Now everybody get to go into their rooms and go see their rooms and everything. Deborah tells Madea she got a special room for her because apparently Deborah had already picked out all the rooms for everybody. She had already picked all the rooms out and trying to, cover up her tracks because if you pay attention to it, Deborah up to something. You just don't know what yet. So they end up getting into all their rooms. Deborah takes Madea to her room and everything like that. And then Joe and Brown go to their room. Joe decides he going to go gamble and he up out of there. Well, this was funny about Joe. Joe go down to the casino and he the first one to find out that all they got to do is use their room card and charge everything to that room card. So they charging everything to the room card, but mind you, the room card is linked to Brian's card. That's what was funny, y'all. Y'all, they was teasing this nigga Brian, cause Brian paying with a red debit card. They was in there clowning him behind that red debit card. It was hilarious. If I can get away with posting the clip, I will. I don't know if I better get away with posting the audio, but if I can get away with posting the clip, I will. Bro, they was clowning Brian ass about that red debit card, bro. It was funny to me. Cause they was like, he got a red debit card. He ain't gonna get no debit. They was clowning him. Y'all gotta hear for yourself though, cause I was like, damn, I ain't know it was. I mean, I ain't got a red debit card or nothing like that, but I ain't know it was a bad thing to have a debit card. But they was clowning my boy. But back to what I was saying. So Joe, he started charging money at the casino onto the room card, but Joe also winning. He getting that bag. So while Joe out there playing and doing shit on his car, like I said, Madea them in their room, the ladies get settled in and they start exploring the Bahamas. You got Cora, Bama, and Madea who run into Xavier and not Xavier, but because his name is Xavier for real. They run into Xavier and Tiffany, and they're talking about the plans and how he's going to go have his bachelor party and blah 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 blah. And she got to go see her dress that she ain't ever seen before. And Madea like, red flag on the play. So Tiffany tells Xavier to make sure that he invites her father to the bachelor party, right? So Xavier really don't want to. He like, I don't know about that. So Madea and them, they talking to Tiffany after Xavier leaves, and they all end up going to go with Tiffany to go see her try on her dress and whatever, right? So Xavier, while that's going on, Xavier pulls up on Joe at the casino and he asks Joe should he invite Brian. And Joe like, don't invite that square ass nigga. Don't invite him. Don't do that. Cause you first of all, that's your father-in-law. Do you really want him? Which is true. Do you really want your father-in-law at your bachelor party? At your bachelor party? So Deborah, Tiffany, Madea, Cora, and Bam are all at this little boutique where she's getting fitted for her dress, right? Well, Madea starts questioning Tiffany about why she want to get married so fast. Cause she like, something about this don't sound right. Like, you could love the boy all you want to, but why do you want to get married this fast? You ain't known him nothing but 6-7 months, a year, whatever the case may be, right? And Tiffany can't really give an answer because her mama keep jumping in and Madea keep going, red flag. And instantly for me too, I'm like, it's a red flag. Something about this don't seem right. Deborah up to something. So Madea, she knows something wrong. So Madea ain't really too interested in what Deborah got to say. She want to hear what Tiffany got to say. And Tiffany saying everything her mama didn't already said to try to make it look right. Because she like, pretty much she like, this is what my mama think I should do, so I'm going to do it because me and my mama best friends type shit. So Madea continuously questioned her the entire movie about her wanting to marry Xavier. And all she kept doing was telling her the same thing over and over again. Well, after all that, during all that, you also got to see Joe and Xavier still talking to the point where Brown and BJ pull up, and Joe lies to Brown and BJ about what the bachelor party gonna be like, and tells them to pretty much pull up to the bachelor party. So they all gamey now, Pentatell the donkey for BJ, church and Bible revival for Brown. So he giving them all kind of lies just to get them to pull up, right? So Madea still saying nope. She don't believe nothing that Tiffany's saying because Deborah got too much of her hand in the pudding for Madea to believe it. So they end up having the bachelor party. While they having a bachelor party, Joe and Brown are at the bar together, and Joe Bro, Joe is a dirty motherfucker. So Joe ends up talking to Brown and telling Brown, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, they got all kind of stuff. They got water up there. They got this, that, and the third at the bar. So he tells the bartender to give Brown the special water he drinking, which we all know is liquor. So Brown drinking that, and while Brown sitting there, you know, drinking that, you know, it's a little spicy. While Brown sitting there drinking that, here come the dancers, but they got on trench coats, right? So they walk up on Brown, and Joe like, these are the choir girls, blah blah blah. I mean, not Brown, but Joe. Joe like, these are the choir girls. These are the choir girls, blah 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 blah. So while he's saying all that, he tell Brown that during the day they of God, but at night they become devilish. As soon as he said that, they ripped their trench coat off and they start dancing on Brown. Joe leaving, boom, Joe out of there. Brown screaming like he ain't never seen it before. And he just, oh, mind you, you chorus daddy, so which means you smashed Madea. So why is you scared? Is what I'm trying to figure out. You climb that big tall tree, you shouldn't be scared. But anyway, so they had a little bachelor party or whatever, and while Madea is still, you know, exploring the Bahamas, Bam down at the casino now. Bam out there gambling at the casino, and she overhears the conversation. So she ends up having Madea come downstairs to the casino. And when Madea get down there, Bam tells her to shut up and listen. Madea starts to listen, and she overhear that Deborah and her husband Dennis are actually getting a divorce. And that the reason why Deborah pushing Tiffany to get married so fast is because if they get married, Tiffany gets an automatic couple mil for getting married, and then BJ get bread for when he go to college, cause he, you know, he's setting the kids up. You know, they not his biological kids, but he want to set the kids up. He was married to their mama. He trying to do the right thing. So now Madea knows this. While Madea finds this out, Brian also catches Xavier talking to a strange woman outside, and they arguing back and forth. And Brian instantly think that Xavier cheating. He go grab his daddy. His daddy like, what the hell you want me to do about it? I'm trying to chill with the hoes. With the hoes. You know what I'm saying? And Brian like, get your ass up and come on. So they get up, and now everybody at the staircase pretty much. Brian pull up, Madea, Cora, Bam, Joe, Deborah, they all start pulling up one by one. And Tiffany assumes, based on what her daddy say, Tiffany starts to assume that Xavier's cheating as well with this older woman. Like instantly when I seen her, the first thing I said is that gotta be his mama. That ain't nobody he cheating with, cause it don't seem, cause that ain't nobody you creeping with, bro. That gotta be your mama. So he don't clear up the air who the woman is. He just letting the bullshit continue. Well, this is where Madea busts Deborah out and lets Tiffany know, I knew it was the reason your mom was pressuring you to get married, because as soon as you get married, you get some M's from this man right here, and when he go to school, he gets some M's. So your mama was pushing you so you can get some money because they're getting divorced and she ain't getting no money. That's what it is. And Tiffany finds out the truth and she like, well, damn, mama, seriously? This what we on? And she storms out. And then Xavier storms out. So now both the kids gone, right? Pew. And Brian, he has words with Deborah. And he like, now I gotta go fix the shit that you keep breaking. So he goes, you know, and goes to go look for Tiffany. He can't find her. He gonna go look for her. Well, Madea, Cora, and Bam, they also go looking for Tiffany. And they end up finding Tiffany. And then Madea and Tiffany had this one-on-one conversation with each other. And, you know, Tiffany, you know, really explains to Madea why she really loves Xavier and why they connect. And then at the same time, Brian finds Xavier and him and Xavier talk man to man. And Xavier pretty much let him know where he coming from and why they connect and why he really truly loved Brian's daughter. It's not a game for him. It's not a joke. Even though her mama playing games, I'm not playing games. I really love your daughter. I want to marry her. And while they talking, the strange woman Xavier's talking to, who turns out to be Xavier's mama, which is what I kept saying from the jump. That's got to be his mama. She pulls up, she gives her little heartfelt speech or whatever. Nobody was trying to really hit all that shit. But she give her little heartfelt speech and blah, blah, blah. Xavier, he tired of hearing her talk. He puned out. I would have puned out too. I ain't trying to hear shit you got to say either, lady. And when he bippity bop boops out, Here come Deborah trying to plead for her sorrows and her apologies to Tiffany. And Tiffany like, I ain't trying to hear that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? You lied to me. You played in my face. And just for that, you not invited to nothing else. We done. Skedaddle. We done. And while they doing that, Brian ends up catching back up to Xavier again. You know, and they end up talking what and whatnot. And Xavier give his little heartfelt speech again. And Brian is listening to him to the point where Tiffany starts to walk up and overhears everything that Xavier is saying. Mind you, I will call him TP. Brian sitting right there looking at Xavier as Tiffany walking up and pretending like he don't see Tiffany walking up. So when Tiffany walks up, she like, you mean everything you said? And he like, hell yeah, I mean everything that I said. But what Brian told Xavier was some real shit before Tiffany got there though. Because he gonna try to tell Brian he don't owe Brian nothing. He can do what he wants to pretty much. And Brian like, if you want to marry my daughter and you want me to accept it and you want to be a part of my family, you owe me everything. You gonna answer every question that I got for you. And when Xavier opened up and realized that he really didn't have a choice, like, you want to marry this man's daughter and claim you love this man's daughter, and you know, to her father means everything. She might not show it all the time, but her father means everything to her. So he went ahead and did what he had to do. Now, fast forward. After all that, and Brian grants Xavier Tiffany's hand in marriage, Deborah, the next day, Deborah is leaving from the hotel. She's leaving from the Bahamas. Madea catches her leaving. Madea like, where you going? She like, I'm up out of here. Tiffany don't want me here. I'm not invited to, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? She don't want me around. The wedding's off, blah, 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 blah. And Madea like, nah, I'm going to the wedding. She said, you going to the wedding? Madea like, yeah, I'm going to the wedding. She was like, and I wasn't invited? Hell no, you weren't invited. So Deborah's like, you know what? She probably really don't want me there. So Madea tell her, girl, bring your goofy ass on. Bring your goof ass on before I punch you in your face. Like, come on. Y'all know she quick. Y'all know Madea quick to say that. I'll punch you in your face. But they go to the wedding. Brian over there rushing the wedding. Like, I rushed this movie recap for real, for real. But Brian rushing the wedding. He like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. So they rush the wedding. They get married, blah, 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 blah. And Brian pulls up to the little tailor lady because he trying to check out. What he was trying to do was hurry up to avoid getting charged another night for them rooms. That's why he's trying to hurry up and check out. But when Brian goes to check out, she hands him a big ass thing full of bill, like his entire bill for the whole stay. Like, all this stuff that they charge to the card is this big massive bill, right? And Brian gets to reading the bill. It's like $43K for casino, $9K for some adult content, $15K on some handbags, $4,300 on a mini bar, maybe another $5,500 on some buffet. Like, everybody was spending money like it wasn't nothing on Brian's little red debit card that they clown so much. They was spending money off this man's card to the point where Brian he gave up reading the damn bill and just passed out on everybody. Joe and Madea gonna run. I don't know what Madea ran for though, because Madea didn't run up that much money on Brian's card. But Joe, Bam, and Cora, and even his son BJ, them, they ran some money up on that man's card. Madea not so much. Madea got a few things. But yeah, they was running bread up on Brian's card. So that's how the movie ends up ending, with Brian passing out and getting this massive bill. That's how it ends. So with that being the ending, y'all know where we going with it next, right? The notes, baby. So listen, on the notes tip, I'm gonna just say this: that passport scene, and then oh damn, what was it? The passport scene, and then every scene with Joe in it was funny to me. But that passport scene was funny because Madea asks for her to not be afraid of the law. She was afraid that day. One thing that I noticed is Tyler Perry smoking weed, because them lips is blacker than what they used to be. Like, when he first came out, I swear his lips was not that black. Them motherfuckers is black now. He must be smoking weed, or he's smoking them cigars. One of the two, because his lips is black. You heard me? One Another thing that I want to point out, and it's gonna be a two-parter for real, for real. I don't know if TP and the original Deborah and the original Tiffany, which if y'all know who the original Deborah is, which this is the original Deborah, this is the new Deborah, this is the original Tiffany, and this is the new Tiffany. I don't know if he had some type of falling out with them two, or if they got scheduled in the line and he couldn't recast them for the movie again. But I really truly don't understand why Tiffany Evans was not put back as the original Tiffany, because I really can't figure that out. Like, I was like, what was the purpose of switching those characters out? Because, like I said, you had Tamara Taylor, who played the original Deborah, and Tiffany Evans, who played the original Tiffany. I really didn't understand what the reasoning for switching the cast out was, and it's not my business to, but I really feel like a bunch of people probably didn't even notice that at all. Like, all these newbies probably didn't even realize the original Deborah was a light-skinned woman, Tamara Taylor, and Tiffany was the originally was Tiffany Evans, the singer. But promise ring, you can hear my her. Anyway, but I just feel like that kind of for their OGs, they from way back to TP's first original work of this trilogy, or not trilogy, but of this saga, this series, if you will. The OGs know the original Deborah and the original Tiffany, and a lot of us probably were questioning that as soon as Madea Boo popped out. But I'm gonna digress on that. Move forward. One thing I did not know Madea's character was in her 80s, and that Cora was damn near 60. I assumed they had to be older, but I didn't know how much older they were. So, but it kind of aligns correctly, because when Maya Angelou and Cicely Tyson was in the movies, Madea and Cicely's character was very close in age. Same thing with Maya Angelou. So her character was supposed to be close to their age. So it kind of makes sense now, with Diary of a Mad Black Woman being 20 years old. It'll make sense, because back then Cicely Tyson probably was in her 60s or maybe 70s, and Madea was in her early or late 60s, one of the two. So it kind of aligns correctly based on the time thing. One thing I would have did in this movie from jump, though, I would have snatched the yanking and Xavier's ass. Xavier's ass would have been snatched up so motherfucking quick. He would have never been able to disrespect me again in front of my daughter, my ex-wife, and my son, and nobody else in my family again. The things that came out of his mouth the first time he met Brian should have smacked the taste out that boy's mouth. You don't talk to nobody parent like that. That was gross and disrespectful all the way around. And I would have snatched the yanking Deborah ass, because she wouldn't have kept playing in my face. Ex-wife or not, you're not going to keep playing in my face. Somebody should have snatched Deborah ass up. Point blank in a prairie. Point blank in a prairie. It's funny because I was with Madea's character I was with that character from the jump. I knew something was off about Deborah. And now I ain't gonna lie, in the beginning I thought something was off with Deborah and Xavier. I thought they was in on something. They had something weird going on. But I really knew from the jump something was off with Deborah, because she was just way too nice to everybody. And see, if you remember from Madea Boo, Deborah and Madea don't get along. They didn't like each other no more. You know what I'm saying? And Madea don't like Deborah because all the hell she put Brian through when she got hooked on them drugs and left him with them kids. See, that's the beef that Madea and Deborah got. And Madea ain't really got over that. So, that's why when she was being too nice to Madea, that's why Madea knew something was up. And that's how I knew something was up. Like I said, any scene with Joe in it usually cracks me up. I love that character. That's probably my favorite character when it comes to Tyler Perry films, and the Madea films. It's probably Joe. I love Madea too, because she like that auntie that grandma that you got in your family. They just keep it real. That's who Madea is. But Joe, that hilarious uncle you gonna go to for that good grimy comedy, that good nasty comedy. That's who you gonna go to every time, because they gonna have you on your toes. They gonna have you cracking up. You know what I'm saying? So I love the fact that these characters were written as they were originally. Nothing about these characters and who they are changed. Madea was always a Madea, Joe was always Joe, and Bam was always Bam. This movie would have been so much more lit had he threw my girl Hattie Mae up in there. Had he put Miss Patrice Lovely back in there, Miss Hattie Mae, this movie would have been so lit. And I don't know if maybe her character wasn't designed for this film, so maybe that's why she wasn't in it. But her character would have set this movie off so much better for me. Just saying. Um, them shorts that Xavier had on was too tight. TP, whoever his stylist is, should have gave him some looser fitting shorts. Them shorts was way too tight. I mean, front and back, just too tight. Just too tight, bro. Uh, Now I don't know if the real if Xavier, not Xavier, but Xavier. I don't know if he's really black in real life or not. I didn't feel like looking that up. I'm assuming he is. Well, he was dropping too many M bombs for me. If he ain't black, he was dropping way too many M bombs, and I know it was part of the movie, but I was like, dang. But I think he is. I don't know, because in the movie they say he was black. In the movie they say he was black and Latino, I think. Well, at least he say he black. But I don't know if he really is black in real life or not. I didn't look that up. I wonder if he is. I should have looked it up, but I really don't care that much. Um, I thought he was Latino, but I guess maybe he mixed. Maybe he black and Latino. Um, the funny thing that happened at the wedding, I rushed through the wedding, but the funny thing that happened at the wedding is Cora was singing for them at their wedding, right? And Madea went, Cora, shut up. As soon as she said that, Cora shut the hell up. No more singing from Cora. That shit cracked me up. That shit cracked me up. And then if you just when you watch the film, if you just actually watch it and pay attention while you're watching it, you'll catch Madea say little slick shit to people throughout. It's funny. It's funny. It is. Um, I think she said Cora hush. I think that's what she said. I think she said Cora hush. And I think that yeah, I think she said Cora hush and Cora shut the hell up. Um, so I know after I give y'all these itty bitty notes, I gotta give y'all my concluding the film, which comes with a 5 category rating scale. 25 out of 25 is the highest points that a movie can get. Let's jump right into what this movie can get. So for the storyline, I did give it a 3, mainly because this movie to me is a repetitive idea of things such as Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, Guess Who Made the Potato Salad, and several other films that focus around a girl who meets a boy, falls in love with a boy, daddy don't like the boy, mama loves the boy, daddy don't want to give him a chance, mama want to give him a chance. It was the same repetitive story, kind of, sort of, but told in a reverse manner. So that's why I got a 3 to me, because it was better. It was a little bit different in the storyline. So, for example, in this film, Brian wanted his daughter to marry a man that he trusted and that he also felt like really was gonna, take care of his daughter. Just like in all the other movies, right? Guess who made the potato salad, who's coming to dinner. But the difference in this movie is usually the mama is all for the marriage because of the right reasons. She's giving the boy a chance. She sees a difference in him. But in this case, the mama was actually grimy and was trying to get the daughter married for her own intentions, not nobody else's. Even though she tried to plead her case and say that's not what it was, that's really what it was. She's being selfish and was looking out for herself. And that's really what it was. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I gave it a 3, because I was like, okay, that's a big difference in the plot. The plot twist in the storyline was a little bit different. So I was like, I'm going to give it a 3 because of that. Other than that, I would have gave it a 1 if there was no difference in any of these films, because and I love TP, but a lot of storylines do be crossing paths a little too much for me. But I had to give it a 3 because of that. Cast 5. I love everybody. Everybody that was in this, as I mentioned earlier, all the characters were still who they were originally, and I love that about it. You know what I'm saying? So I gave it a 5. Even though Xavier, the Xavier Smalls, even though to me the emotional parts he was supposed to be prominent in and exuding that anger in, I feel like he didn't bring it to life as best as I would have wanted him to. But I'm also not a trained actor or actress. I'm no acting coach, but I feel like that it was that emotional part that he was supposed to bring to that character, he didn't bring it all the way. And I feel like because of that, the emotional scenes between him and Brian kind of lacked. It wasn't, and between him and his mom, they lacked a lot because it wasn't enough there. But I still enjoyed the cast. I feel like everybody was picked correctly for their spots, even though Deborah and Tiffany's character was replaced. I still feel like, because the newer Tiffany, she kind of fits that snotty brat role really well. I don't feel like Tiffany Evans probably would have wanted to play a snotty brat role, because that's not who she was in the in the beginning when that character was brought to life. So, just like Deborah wasn't who Deborah was when that character was first brought to life. So I feel like, you know, in that sense, the cast was a little manipulated to add more dramatic effects, but I still appreciate everyone in the casting. Relatedness, I gave it a 3, mainly because I can relate to this movie in some type of ways throughout my family. You know, I got the overprotective daddy, the overprotective mama, I got the overprotective siblings, I got the overprotective, everything, right? But I also share a common sense with BJ. He's very nerdy. He stayed in his childlike mentality for he's like 18, 19 years old, and or 17. He's 17 years old. And he still kept his childlike mentality, kind of similar to me. I kept my childlike mentality until I left for college, and then I became my own adult. So I kind of related to BJ in a sense, and then like with Madea and Joe and Bam, they're straight to the point vocalness, their vulgarness. I'm very familiar with that. Um, the part that I could not relate to was the being forced to be in a relationship and not knowing. I couldn't relate to that because my family would never do that to me. Um, if anything, they'll try to shed light on some bad areas and maybe some good areas and let me make my own decision. But no one ever forced me to stay with a person. Well, no one ever told me to leave a person either. They just let me make my own decision. So that's kind of why the relatedness got a 3, because that was the main focal point of the movie, and I can't relate to that. Enjoyableness, a 5. If you're just sitting there watching it and not doing what I'm doing, to give you guys this recap and give you guys the movie is way more enjoyable, because I had to keep going back to jot down specific things that I might have missed. I bet you if I go rewatch the movie just straight through, no pauses, no stops, no nothing, I probably would catch even more than what I caught the first time. And it's like I said, it's an enjoyable movie. I liked it. It was good. It's not a. I know everybody be like, oh, it's not another Tyler Perry film where it's harping on struggling black women, as y'all like to say. He likes to point out all the time. This one is giving a standpoint from a woman who has wealth and is being greedy, so to speak. Because she has money. It wasn't like she wasn't gonna have nothing. She just wasn't gonna have what Dennis had, but she still had it. So in a way, it was more of a play on spitefulness. You know what I'm saying? But it still was, to me, it was enjoyable. Learning level 2. Not really much to learn from this movie. Um, it's a comedy. It's a comedy dramedy. I think is what they call it. A drama comedy. So it's not really much to learn from it. In my opinion, there's not a lot that you need to learn from this film. Besides, don't let people pressure you into shit. If you're really not ready for something, just say that. And if you are really ready for something, speak up on it as well and have a valid standpoint as to why you're ready. Other than that, there was not much to really learn from this. Maybe don't judge a book by a cover. Don't lie to your kids, but there's not really. It's not a learning level. That's not what this movie was supposed to be about. 100%. This movie was supposed to be entertainment. I feel like not a whole fixation on learning. So overall, the movie got an 18 out of 25. What? Taylor gave it an 18 out of 25, not a 25 out of 25. I told you guys before. I love TP, but I can be very critical, and I feel like that I've been letting a lot of movies slide and not being very critical of them. So with these remaining last 5 episodes, 6 episodes that y'all getting, I'm being very critical of them. I am judging these movies hard. Okay, no pause. But yeah, that's my honest takeover. 18 out of 25. Like I said, it's an enjoyable movie. It's worth giving it an honest shot and looking past who created it and actually just watching it for what it is. Whatever your genre style of movies are, if you're like me and you like all kind of movies, it doesn't matter what it is, then give this movie a shot. If you're a comedy type of person or a dramedy, give this movie a shot. If you're an action person, don't watch this movie then, because it's not an action film. If you're a thriller person, you don't like this stuff, don't watch it. It's not a thriller. It's not sci-fi. This is a dramedy. It's a comedy drama. Okay? It ain't meant to be super serious, bro. It's just for laughs and giggles and a good time. Alright? Alright. Argue with your mom, your host with the most is out. Peace out. Thank y'all. I'm done with this. Gotta warm my food up back again. 'Cause it's kinda cold. It's kinda cold. Hey, it's kinda cold, bitch. Hey man, whatever y'all do, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. I really appreciate it. Y'all stay blessed. Peace out.